What if I told you the most important era in Star Wars has barely been explored? Because after the fall of the Empire, after Darth Vader's redemption, after the celebration on Endor, the real story was just beginning. And somehow, we've never gotten that one show fans have wanted for decades. A Clone Wars-style animated series following Luke, Han, and Leia after Return of the Jedi. And honestly, guys, this could be the project that unites almost every generation of Star Wars fans.
This is the way. This is the way.
Welcome to Fatherly Fandom. I'm your host, Chris, and if you love Star Wars breakdowns, deep dives, lore, and all things nerdy, you're absolutely in the right place. So hit that subscribe button because your inner nerd will thank you. And remember, guys, that notification bell is turned off when you subscribe, so make sure you turn it on so you don't miss a thing. And guys, once you really think about it, this idea feels less like a maybe and more like something Lucasfilm eventually has to do because the potential here is insane. Think about it. We've seen the fall of Anakin Skywalker. We've seen the rise of the Empire. We've seen the rebellion fight back. We've even spent years exploring the gap between episode 2 and 3 thanks to Star Wars The Clone Wars. But the era immediately after Return of the Jedi, the era where the original heroes are trying to rebuild the galaxy they fought for, we've barely touched it. And that's crazy because this is arguably the most emotionally rich period in the entire saga. Luke is trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, Leia is helping rebuild the New Republic while secretly processing the fact that Darth Vader was her father, Han is transitioning from war hero back to civilian life and figuring out what peace even means for someone like him. That's not just interesting, that's storytelling gold. Now imagine this in the style of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Not a tiny limited series, not a one-off special, an actual multi-season animated epic. Because animation gives Lucasfilm freedom they simply just don't have in live action. You can de-age the original trio perfectly without recasting controversy. You can tell massive galactic stories without billion-dollar budgets. And most importantly, you can make the galaxy feel huge again. That's exactly why The Clone Wars worked so well. It took characters we already loved and added emotional depth that completely changed how we viewed them. Before Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker was divisive for a lot of fans. After Clone Wars, he became one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. Now imagine what that same storytelling could do for the post-Jedi Luke Skywalker. Because this is the Luke that fans have wanted to see for years. Not the legend people whisper about, not the broken hermit isolated on Ahch-To, the Jedi Knight at the height of his power. The Luke who walks into a room and changes everything. Give us Prime Luke Skywalker. And let's be honest, Lucasfilm has already teased how incredible this could be. Every time we've seen post-Jedi Luke in projects like The Mandalorian or The Book of Boba Fett, the internet loses its mind! Because fans have waited decades to see the fully realized version of Luke Skywalker. A wise Jedi Master, a symbol of hope, the son of Anakin Skywalker finally becoming what his father never could. And animation could let them go all in. Let's show Luke searching for ancient Jedi temples, show him training new students, show him confronting dark side cults, Imperial remnants, bounty hunters, warlords, maybe even ancient Force mysteries we've never seen before. This era could feel mythic because Luke isn't just another Jedi anymore, he's the Jedi. And what about Leia? Honestly, Leia might benefit from this series even more than Luke because Leia Organa has always been one of the greatest characters in Star Wars, and yet we rarely get to fully sit with her perspective. Think about everything she's carried after Return of the Jedi. She's helped defeat the Empire, she's lost Alderaan, she's discovered Darth Vader was her father, and now she's expected to help rebuild an entire galaxy politically while emotionally processing generations of trauma. This is incredible character setup, and a Clone Wars style show could finally explore Leia balancing diplomacy, leadership, family, and the growing fear that the darkness might still exist in the galaxy. You can even slowly plant seeds for Ben Solo's future in ways that actually deepen the sequel trilogy emotionally. Not rewrite it, enhance it. That's exactly what Clone Wars did for the prequels. And then there's Han, guys, because one of the biggest missed opportunities in modern Star Wars is showing Han Solo evolving after the war. This is the guy that went from selfish smuggler to selfless hero. But what happens after the happy ending? Does he struggle sitting still? Does peace make him restless? Does he become the mentor figure? Does he help hunt Imperial warlords with Chewie? There's so much story here. And honestly, the chemistry between Luke, Leia, and Han is still the beating heart of Star Wars. A new animated series could give us adventures with the original trio that actually feel like classic Star Wars. Big galactic stakes, smaller emotional moments, humor, heart, friendship, the magic combination that made the original trilogy timeless. And guys, the galaxy after Return of the Jedi is chaos. The Empire doesn't just disappear overnight. There's surviving Moffs, Imperial loyalists, crime syndicates fighting for power, entire systems trying to figure out who governs them now. This could basically become Star Wars' version of a post-war political fantasy epic. And because it's animation, they can pull from everything. Stories inspired by the expanded universe, New Republic lore, unused George Lucas concepts, even elements from modern canon novels and comics. You can bring back fan favorites, introduce a new Jedi, show massive fleet battles, explore the unknown unknown regions, the possibilities are endless. And maybe the biggest reason this needs to happen, we already know this format works unbelievably well. Dave Filoni helped turn Clone Wars into one of the most beloved Star Wars stories ever made because he understood something crucial. Star Wars thrives when characters are allowed to breathe. Not everything needs to sprint from cameo to cameo or setup to setup. Sometimes the fans just want to live in this galaxy with characters they love. That's exactly why Clone Wars became so special, and this era deserves that same treatment. Because there's still an entire emotional bridge missing between the hopeful ending of Return of the Jedi and the fractured galaxy we eventually see later. And honestly, this project could genuinely bring Star Wars fans back together. Original trilogy fans would get more time with Luke, Han, and Leia. Prequel fans already loved the Clone Wars animation style and long-form storytelling. Even the sequel fans could finally get deeper context that strengthens the later timeline emotionally. Instead of endless debates about what Star Wars should be, this feels like the rare idea almost everyone agrees would be incredible. Because at the end of the day, Star Wars has always been about hope, and there's no era more hopeful than the years immediately after the Empire fell. That's the galaxy worth exploring. But what do you guys think? Would you want a Clone Wars style animated series set right after Return of the Jedi following Luke, Han, and Leia? And if Lucasfilm actually made it, what's the one story you'd want to see first? Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order, Leia leading the New Republic, Han and Chewie hunting Imperial warlords? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because I genuinely think this could become the next great Star Wars animation masterpiece. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss future Star Wars breakdowns, deep dives, and theories right here on Fatherly Fandom. And remember, the Force will always be with you. So stay nerdy, my friends, and I will see you next time.